Hello everyone. When the courier handed me this box, I was quite relieved because inside here, obviously, you've clicked the video to see Hoover Junior. Sometimes people send a Hoover Junior fully assembled in a huge box, and I'm thinking if you'd only taken the handle apart, you could have got that in a much smaller box. I've also seen Hoover Juniors on eBay listed as collection only because it's too big to post. Well, this box is bigger than the box that this would have been packed in from the factory. So you can get Hoover Junior in a much smaller box. Very easy to post. So this is a Hoover Junior with a slight difference. It's an 80s model, I believe. So first thing out, we have a genuine but slightly used and tatty H1 dust bag. This is the later type because it's the unbleached paper. They would have been a yellow colour previously. So that's the top fill tube, which was a new feature added to the Hoover Junior at some point in its history. We've also got a handle. There is something wrong with this, and I'm hoping to possibly get replacement, but that handle is in very nice condition, brown and cream, very 80s. Let's get rid of all this paper. And so I can't get you the lower handle yet. Right, they've left the bag attached, might as well take it out. Hopefully the screws are somewhere. I've seen one screw. Yes, the screws are all there. It would have been nice to have the instruction book, but it wasn't shown, but I'll just check, you never know. Right. Quite well packed with odds and ends there, isn't it? Okie dokie, let's have a look at this exclusive by Hoover Junior. I have a feeling, now don't quote me on this, this could have been a co-op exclusive. Don't think it was an electricity board exclusive. I think it's a co-op one. First impressions on this. Yes, pretty pleased with it. That's going to clean up very well. I would very much doubt that the headlight works, but we'll have a look at that. The only thing that I could see wrong with this, and it almost put me off, crikey, it's even got, which you'll have to be very careful with. I've got a Hoover Junior U1206 in a mustard colour. That was the first of the restyled Juniors when they completely, well, it's basically the same underneath, but it was quite a change in the 80s. Could have been 79, 80, when Hoover really sort of softened the look of the Junior, made it a bit more rounded. I think it was in the 70s. Could be as early 77 when the U1206 came out. The Junior lasted up into the late 80s, I think. But anyway, if I wash this bag, pretty sure that Hoover roundel will disappear. So, fortunately though, that bag is very clean. What I might have a go at is just try dry cleaning it with some SIBO Duo powder, or maybe some Dyson Zorb, and rub it in and vacuum it off gently. That should be enough to freshen it. Okay, I'll just pop it together and we'll have a closer look at this Hoover Junior exclusive. Okay, so here it is. I've just given it, as I said, I've just given it a wipe with some wet wipes, so I'm not going to get covered in muck when showing this cleaner to you. It's not going to need a lot. So if the motor sounds fine, it's going to need a new belt, and I'll show you for why. I expect it'll need a headlight bulb and obviously a new bag, but apart from that, maybe new brush roll. And I'll show you the brush roll because it's a little bit different to the regular Junior brush rolls. So here it is. Now it says exclusive by Hoover, and as I said, this would have been exclusive to a particular retailer in the UK. The best guess I have for this one is Co-op. Co-op had department stores. Then they're still going, our Co-op, but they're more known for convenience stores selling groceries. But back in the day, they also had big department stores. One of my favourite department stores back in the 80s was a Co-op department store called Victoria House in York, and that had loads and loads of lovely Hoovers. This one I think dates from the 80s. I think it could be 81, but we'll have a look at the rating plate underneath in a minute. So what made this exclusive to the regular Junior? The U10, well, it's based on a U1036, U1104, and I think there was one before that, and I can't remember. I've got one. So to make it a little bit exclusive to the retailer, they put a headlight on, and there's another exclusive feature which I'll show you in a minute. But apart from the headlight and the other feature, it's basically the same as the Hoover Junior that was out at the time. So we've got a slightly changed height control on the side. Well, it changed when the U1036 came into production. The earliest Junior based on this similar design was metal bodied, and it didn't have a height control. They added that later when they introduced the plastic bodied Junior. So I've got a Dirtsearcher you might have seen on my channel that has a sort of a wheel to control the height. Well, this one has a lever. You can see that we can move. It's 4 position. So at the front, that's the lowest setting with the brush roll at its lowest height. Then you've got one above that for normal carpet, then medium and long pile. On this plush carpet, I might need it on long. I'm going to start it off though on that setting, but it might not work very well with the belt that's actually fitted. On this side of the cleaner is the dual purpose on off and handle release switch, another innovation introduced on the U1036. So basically, instead of having a separate on-off switch, that famous little red Rolo shaped switch on the side, and a separate little handle release mechanism, Hoover combined it. This also, it made it probably cheaper to produce, but it also made the cleaner a little bit more sleek looking. So one light press releases the handle to the operating position, press it again, and it releases it for cleaning under low furniture. So once you've got it in the position you want, you then press it more firmly, and that switches the machine on and off. Okay, let's turn the cleaner over and I'll show you why this Junior is a little bit different to previous models. So this is what makes this Junior a little bit different from its predecessors. Hoover have done away with the metal agitator with the slide-in brush inserts and the metal beta bars, and they've gone with the activator brush roll, first seen on the Hoover Turbo Power. So this is certainly an 80s model. I had one from new, a U1104 in rose white and mink, that had this agitator or activator fitted to it. Now it's okay, but the brushes are a little bit worn. I've found somewhere that actually sells a new activator body. It feels very smooth, so I think the end caps and bearings are okay, so I can just buy the central part, which will revitalize this. I can also buy one of these base plates from the same supplier, so I'm going to buy those 2 items. Hopefully they'll have them in stock, and that will just revitalize this cleaner. So with that, a new bag and a headlight bulb, this will be, I think, as good as new. I don't think it's going to need any major work looking at the condition of it. You can see from the underside that this is pretty clean and very good shape. All the wheels are fine. Yes, I think it's going to be taken apart and cleaned, but I'm not going to strip the motor. I'm not taking the motor out. I might take the suppressor out to avoid any nasty shocks in future. Right, I'm going to remove the base plate to have a look at the belt because it has the wrong belt fitted. But we'll just have a quick look at the rating plate here. So this is Hoover model U1206, serial number U1206 6110246. It has a 300 watt motor made in UK by Hoover PLC. Now it's U1206 is the model, and then it's 61. Now, does that mean 86, January 86, or does it mean June 81? Well, I think, judging by the activator, I think, you'll have to correct me if I'm wrong, I think this is from 1986. While I'm here, I might as well open up the motor cover. Now I was thinking it's only going to be 2 screws I'm going to have to undo, but no, I think it's 4 on the later version. I expect there'll be some fluff under here. I think I'll have to undo the 2. Yes, there's 2 further screws on these. At the back, this was definitely, you know, the most basic Hoover upright of its time. But handling it now, I mean, it's still a very well made cleaner. Obviously they've cut corners, they've made a lot of it more plastic, but you know, still leaps and bounds ahead of most of the things you buy nowadays. So, oh, I was right. Well, I might have to get my other vacuum out to have a look at that. Right, on the underside, try and turn that over. Oh yeah, a bit of muck there. Yeah, not a huge amount, is there, of muck. Just it's what I expected, really. Going to clean this a bit better with a brush or something, but it's not too bad. Where is the suppressor on this one? I can't see it. It'll be somewhere, I assume, because this definitely hasn't come from a collector. You normally can tell when it's a collector selling a vacuum. Sometimes they have removed the suppressor. I'm going to need a little brush to get all that out. Can't remember where the suppressors are on these. It might be slightly... I think it's underneath. Is it? Oh no, it's not. It'll be somewhere. It's probably underneath the whole unit. To remove the motors on Juniors, you do need a long, very long shaft Phillips positive drive screwdriver. These 2 screws, easy enough to remove, but there are 2 further screws at the back, and with normal screwdriver you just can't get down. So that's one thing. If you service a Hoover Junior, want to open one up, you do need a long screwdriver. I'll give that a quick vac in a minute. So I'll just take off the base plate while I'm here. Have a look at this incorrect belt. I have got some correct belts, but not to hand at the moment, but it should work with this one. I think the owner's probably seen Junior on the packet of belts and thought, I've got Hoover Junior, that'll be correct. But it isn't. It might slip off. They've put a round belt. You can see there, this should be a flat belt. You can see there, that's for a flat belt, and the flat belts, it is a genuine Hoover one, I think, or is it? The flat belt was ribbed on one side, smooth on the outer face, so you had to put it with the ribbed side facing the agitator and the motor spindle. So for the purpose of the demo, I think it'll work, but not for long, I expect, and it might not turn very well on my carpet. But so that needs replacing, which is fine. What's happened to my ratchet? There we are. So I'll just quickly, very briefly, vacuum out the dust from the motor. Trying to think. Oh yes, I've got one upstairs. I'll bring that down. It's got a dusting brush. I might be able to get rid of some of this fluff. There we go, that'll do, won't it? Just for now. It's got rid of a lot of the fluff. We can actually see all the wires inside there, quite a lot of them. Of course it will have an extra wire going to the headlamp, which the standard Junior doesn't have. I do like a headlamp on a vacuum. Of course modern cleaners have LED lights, don't they? And they're more useful than you think, actually, to light up dark corners, light up underneath furniture. You can see where you're going. Make sure you don't pick up anything you don't want to pick up. You know, there won't be much. I'm going to have to look at the suppressor on this if I can find it, but I'm not going to open up the motor, well, depending on what it sounds like, but looking at the condition of the rest of the cleaner, I don't think the motor is going to sound bad. That's what I'm hoping. Normally, if a vacuum on the outside looks like it's had a very hard life, you can expect the motor to have suffered, but if it looks like it's had quite an easy life, hopefully the internal parts will be just as good as the external appearance. I think I've done that correctly. Right, I'm just going to show you one last thing before I switch this Hoover Junior on. That's okay. Just want to have a look at the headlamp bulb, which I doubt is working. A lot of people, I don't think they would have bothered replacing the headlamp on their cleaners. Once the headlamp blew, that's it. There's not many vacuums I've had that have got working headlights. Ah, it's one of those. Oh, I might have one of those. So, here's the inside. Again, that will clean up very well, but I have to be careful about the printing. The exclusive by Hoover. I did have a cloth. Hang on. I'll use a wet wipe. Now this has got, I think, the same bulb that the turbo power uses. Just give it a dust. Ooh. Well, there's a thing. I think it looks intact. I would be surprised, but that, hard to see on camera, that looks intact. Just give the inside here a little wipe, so we'll be able to see the light shining through. Now some people do put LED lights in the vacuums, and I've done it myself. You can buy little LED bulbs, which obviously run a lot cooler than their traditional counterparts. But for some eras of, right, just noticed, look, hang on, there we go, look, eek, it is broken there. Fortunately, it's a very clean little break. A tiny bit of glue, hold that together, that should be fine, so I'm not bothered about that. So this could have cleaning tools, but unlike the previous Juniors before the U1206, you didn't remove the front cover and put the hose in the front. This uses a pan converter that fits over the agitator. Again, I've seen somewhere, I might get a new one of those just because I want to. It wasn't very much. The same seller that had the agitator body and the other bits I need for this also had that for, I think, $2.99, so I'll get one of those. It will clean up, but it's gone a bit rusty there. So inside here we can see just about a plastic fan. There you go, it's a bit hard to see there. And you can see the belt, the incorrect belt, and it's yeah, it's going to snap. It's split. It might snap during the initial turn on of this, but I do have some flat belts, I'm sure, in my supplies. Just give that a bit wipe while I've got it open. Just wipe it. I'm planning on doing a lot of refurbishments of my cleaners. Some haven't been looked at for years. I've unboxed them on this channel years and years ago and haven't done anything with them. Let me just blow the dust out of that, and that should be fine. I'll just pop that. You need to make sure if that's not put back, you'll lose most of the suction. So that has to go firmly in place. Yeah, it's a bit of a loose fit, so I think a new one would possibly benefit this cleaner. Give that another blow. There we are. That contacts are nice and clean in that anyway. So hopefully that will work. It doesn't look broken, which is very surprising. Bulbs didn't last long on Hoovers. It was a combination of the vibration from the motor. You know, they didn't last. LED bulbs would last longer, but they don't look as good as, you know, if you want a nice vintage look, you want the yellow glow of the original bulb. Right, time to plug this bad girl in. Well, she's not bad, hopefully. Switch her on and see if she works. I didn't show you the other exclusive feature, did I, on this cleaner? And that is a quick release top cord hook. The standard Junior from this era had a fixed hook, but this exclusive version has a quick release hook. And looking at the cable, it's very hard to tell in this light, but I think it looks a bit black, but in real life that looks like a very dark brown, which would be, I think this is original, and I would say definitely this is, oh right, I'm gonna have to rewire the plug because it's not being wired in correctly. The you can see there, you can just about see the outer insulation should be under that cord grip, and what they've done, we can see, I don't know if you can see, but the blue and brown wires are clamped, so that's not correct. I'll just quickly rewire that off camera. But this is a lovely Volex. My second favourite type of plug of this era was Volex, MK being my preferred brand of the 80s. But yes, it is a period, because we've not got the insulated live and neutral pins on this model, and it says made in England on it, so definitely a plug to keep. There you go, that's the plug wired up a little bit better with the outer insulation underneath the cord grip, and I've just had to rewire the live and neutral. It's only got a 3 amp fuse in. Now, I think it should have at least a 5 amp, but it should work with a 3 amp. It just might blow a bit easier, but it's only a 300 watt motor, so I think it's going to work. I think a 5 amp fuse would be more appropriate. There we go, ready to plug in. Okay folks, fingers crossed. Well, it works, and yes, amazingly, the headlight works. That sounds good to me. It sounds like a Hoover Junior should sound. Well, a Hoover Junior of the 80s. Okay, I feel fairly safe now. After the initial switch on, we'll give it a push. Well, I'm really pleased with this. Can't believe the headlight works. The motor sounds fine, and despite the fact it's got the wrong belt, it's not done a bad job of grooming this carpet. Well, here we go then. I've put down some rice, couscous, rolled oats and purple sand with added glitter. Let's see how well this exclusive Hoover Junior does. One pass through the middle, forward and back, before I clean up the rest. Well, not perfect, is it? Quite a lot left. We can just about see the line of shame just here where the belt guard is. Now this will work better, I'm sure, with a proper belt and a new activator. I expect this result will be improved dramatically. I could feel it stalling as I was pulling the machine back, so possibly a lot of the reverse pass would have been mainly suction because I don't think the brush was rotating very fast. But anyway, this is a pre-refurb. This is a deep carpet. I think I made a mistake with this, you know. Too late now, but it's certainly a test for many vacuums. Well, it's got most of it up. I can't see any trace of that glitter and sand, which is good. That's the finest thing, but something that could go down to the base of the pile. What it doesn't like though, oh, a little bit of glitter. What it doesn't like is the rice. I mean, it's picked a lot of it up, but it took some doing. A lot of it's been scattered underneath the furniture. I'll have to send one of my robots out later to get all that it's decided to spread about. I think though, after a bit of a refurb, maybe a fleece bag fitted, which will increase the airflow somewhat, having a little bit more suction, new belt, new activator, I think it'll perform even better. But still, you know, for an 80s vacuum, at least it works on this carpet. If you watch my video when I first had this carpet put down, a lot of cleaners just couldn't cope with a plush pile carpet, including some of my most expensive machines. But all in all, the cleaners that did best on it were the old-fashioned dirty fan types like this Junior. The winner, if you want to see that video, is the Hoover Concept 2, which I still use. It's a very good cleaner. Right, well, that's about the end of the video on this Junior. A very humble, basic, but popular vacuum cleaner back in the day. It's no bells and whistles, although this does have a little bit of a bell and a little bit of a whistle with 2 extra features, but bog standard. This was basically just for cleaning carpets. It did carpets best, not very good on hard floors. I'll have to show that in a demo. It'll just scatter an awful lot. With the tools as well, it was adequate, but not the best. If you just wanted something to clean your carpets in your 3-bed semi or your little terraced house in the 1980s, you couldn't really go far wrong with a cheap and cheerful Hoover Junior. If you have any comments or questions about this cleaner, please comment below. Don't forget to thumb up, and if you haven't already done so, please subscribe and click the bell icon, and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. So until the next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye for now.